easy, nutritious dish that is perfect for making at home. Make it from this Andrew Zimmern recipe and it will taste great. Welcome to Lawyer in the Kitchen. Today we're gonna make egg Foo Young. This is a fantastic dish. You're gonna love this. And you know what you're really gonna like about it the most? It's not hard to make. It's actually very easy. I'm gonna do it in a wok, but you don't have to. You could do it in a large skillet. It doesn't matter how you do it. I saw Andrew Zimmern cook this dish yesterday, and I actually have his recipe. Of course, I have it because I watched him do it. And let me tell you what's in it. We're gonna use about 6 large shrimp cut up in small chops, and I got about 2 to 3 ounces of ham also chopped. We're gonna use 8 eggs. We're gonna use about 3 or 4 leaves of Napa cabbage. If you don't have Napa cabbage, you can use regular, but slice it thinly because it doesn't cook as fast as Napa cabbage does. You gotta have about a handful of bean sprouts and about a teaspoon of fresh grated ginger, about a teaspoon of, what is this stuff? Cornstarch. And then we're gonna have a teaspoon of soy sauce, 2 teaspoons of sesame oil, and 1 teaspoon of oyster sauce. Oh, and a shredded carrot. And I think that's everything we're gonna have in it. All right, so we're gonna use a carrot, and I'm gonna shred it on the box grater. And 1 medium carrot is plenty. And we'll make these pretty fine. And when Andrew Zimmern was doing this yesterday, he was only going to use the tops, and then he decided, well, the onions actually look pretty good, so he went ahead and put those in there. And these actually look pretty good. But on the Napa cabbage, I'm going to take the ends. I'm going to cut this off first so I can get a nice fine chop on this. First thing we're going to do, after we've chopped our other vegetables, is put the shrimp in a bowl with the ham. About a teaspoon of soy sauce, 2 teaspoons of sesame oil, 1 teaspoon of oyster sauce. And we're just going to mix that up. All right, we're going to do a wok, and I'm going to use grapeseed oil. Peanut oil is fine. Don't use olive oil. Use a vegetable oil, or like I'm using grapeseed oil. It's got a very high flash point, and it's perfect for cooking something like this. I prefer grapeseed oil, and that's probably too much, but that's all right. As you can see, our oil is nice and hot. And I'm going to put the meat in. And turn this down just a little bit. We're just going to cook this a little bit. About a teaspoon of freshly grated ginger. And that looks good right there. We only want to cook this about a minute. And that is done. I'm going to put this on a plate and set it aside. All right. Now, the next thing we want to do is get our eggs whisked up. We're going to use 8 large eggs. These are actually medium eggs, but 8's plenty. Now I'll put our cabbage in, our carrots, our scallions, our peas. Get that oil off of there, like I let it run to the side there. We'll pull that away. I put a little bit too much oil in there. And then put our meat. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put some, I was gonna put a little baking soda on the meat because it helps it to make it a little more velvety and smooth. It won't make that big of a difference, but it would be nice if I'd have done it. I think it's not gonna do that much to ham, but I think it would actually make the shrimp a little more silky. And as I look at this, I'm not seeing enough egg. If you look at that, that's not gonna hold together. It's close, but I think it's gonna need a couple more. So we're just gonna do this. We're not specifically not adding salt to this. All right, let's go ahead and break those up. That's looking better. Obviously, it's the egg that holds all this together. And I think that's pretty close right there. I'm pretty happy with that. Everything's super well coated. And look at it. Come have a look at this, Sherry. This looks good. If you look at this, we got plenty of egg in there. And it's nicely mixed. I think we're ready to make some egg foo young. Egg foo young originates from the Guangdong province, formerly known as Canton. Its name is Cantonese and it means hibiscus egg. It came to America when Cantonese cooks immigrated to the northwest coast in the middle of the 19th century. Brown sauce, which always accompanies this, is largely an American invention, as traditional egg foo young was doused with soy sauce instead of being drizzled with gravy. Even that's controversial. Some people say that this brown sauce or brown gravy that's used for egg foo young was originated in the 1890s in the United Kingdom. However you make it, and whatever ingredients you choose, egg foo young is a Chinese American favorite. All right, so we're ready to cook these. We're gonna bring the wok up to temperature. We're gonna put in about 6-8 tablespoons of oil. Again, I'm using grapeseed oil. We're gonna let that get nice and warm. I did clean out the pan with a paper towel. I got all that old stuff off from the pork and the shrimp. We're gonna make 2 of these at a time. And after that sets, we're gonna put a little bit more on top. We're not gonna flip this. We're gonna baste it with the hot oil so that the top sets. And hopefully we've got 2 that are distinct. And I turned the temperature down so we don't want to burn it. We're gonna cook these about 4 or 5 minutes. To flip them, get you a couple of spatulas. All right, so we're gonna do it like this. Ah, that looks good. That looks good. It might even be too much egg, but that's all right. And we're gonna let that cook for about 3 or 4 more minutes. All right, we've cooked 3 or 4 minutes. We're gonna check this. And I think it can cook a little bit longer. We want a little bit browner than that. All right, this is a nice golden brown. We're gonna go ahead and set this on the plate. Ooh, that's got some grease coming out. That looks pretty good right there. All right, and now we're gonna make our sauce. All right, so now we're gonna make our brown sauce. All right, so what I'm gonna do is go ahead and get the heat going. We're gonna do this in a separate pan, not too high. And we'll go ahead and pour in, everything goes in here at once. There's the 2/3 of a cup of chicken stock. Here is about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 teaspoons of sesame oil, 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce, and 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. And we're gonna mix this up nicely in here. And that, of course, is what's gonna thicken this up. And then 2 tablespoons of sake or rice wine. And we're just gonna stir this all up right now. And this is obviously very thin right now. But as this cooks and simmers, it'll thicken up, and the cornstarch will do that. All right, we're looking good. We'll stir this occasionally. It's beginning to get a little thicker. All right, so we've cooked this about 5-6 minutes, and it is ready. I've tasted it, and it doesn't need anything. There's not a single thing. This is a nice thin sauce, but it's got a little texture to it, little thickness to it, as you can see. And I think we're good. All right, it's time to eat. Everything's done. We're going to put just a little more of this. Look at this gravy. This brown sauce is perfect. It is absolutely perfect. Now let's try this. Oh, this is pretty good. It's so easy to make. You saw how easy it is to make. It's fantastic. You can taste the vegetables. They still got a little crisp to them. The onions are great. The pork, the shrimp, the sauce has got, the sauce by itself seems like it's almost a little too salty, but it's not, because once you put it on the egg Foo Young, it's perfect. Come try this, Mrs. Brooks. Isn't that good?
That gravy is great.
The gravy's perfect. Absolutely perfect. And you look at it, it's almost clear. You look at it in the spoon, look at that. It's just perfect. And you don't want it any thicker than that. I mean, you can make it as thick as you want, obviously, but I mean, you want it to drizzle on there. So that's just the way we want it. If you like this video, of course, like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time on
Lawyer in the Kitchen.